What we're offering is a guided tour around the site, and our goal is to try and encourage students to learn how to identify different birds of prey. When they do identify or see a bird on site, the next step is to try and identify it and match it with the correct species that's in the field guide.
Without Wendy Slater, this place couldn't run. She's the co-founder of the center, and she's here working 7 days a week. Wendy, how do you take care of so many birds?
I get up very early in the morning and go to bed very late at night. We'd have a hard job to do this without our volunteers. We have several volunteers who come during the week and 2 or 3 on the weekend, because there's a lot to do behind the scenes here. You know, these birds have got to be put away at night, they've got to have a bath during the day, compartments have got to be kept clean, so there's a lot of raking, cutting grass, stuff like that. The bird I'm holding is a burrowing owl. He's 3 years old now. His name is Alex.
Burrowing owls are threatened in the wild, aren't they?
They are. And it's mostly through the use of pesticides. They prefer the natural grassland prairie. So they don't dig their own hole. They find an old burrowing hole or an abandoned badger hole. And their only defense when they're underground is that they can make a noise like a rattlesnake.
It's a real thrill to get close to these big birds. And through her volunteer work here at the center, Kim Pride has the opportunity to work with them every day. Kim, how do you handle the birds safely so you won't get hurt?
Well, when we get an injured bird in, it's straight from the wild, and obviously it's very terrified. And they'll use their talons as self-defense. And you have to be very careful that you don't get grabbed, because they have very fast reflexes, very powerful grip, and as you can see, sharp talons. And they're using their talons to defend themselves. Their beak they don't generally use for self-defense. To them, it's like a knife and fork.
Birds of prey are built to fly in different ways. Eagles have long, broad wings for soaring. Their wingspans can reach more than 7 feet. Hawks are also built for gliding and can be seen hunting in the ditches along the roadside. An owl's face is dished to catch the smallest sound. Their wings are broad with rounded tips so they can fly silently while hunting. Falcons maneuver very well with their pointed wings and long tails. You'll recognize them by their strong, rapid wing strokes. They hunt other smaller birds.
In a moment, Colin will give a flying demonstration. Right now, Ryla's at the Brooks Pheasant Hatchery. Ryla, that doesn't look like a pheasant to me.
It's not, Steve. The hatchery also has a few other birds on display, like this wild turkey. People also bring injured raptors to the hatchery, like this kestrel. A lot of the raptors are sent to the Alberta Birds of Prey Center to recover from their injuries. But this is the main reason for the hatchery. Every year, thousands of pheasants are hatched in the spring and in the fall, released into the wild. Dory is an interpreter here. Dory, would you explain the impact the hatchery has on the wild pheasant populations?
Well, Ryla, every year we release around 40,000 male pheasants into the wild to supplement the wild population and provide hunting stock. When the birds reach 20 to 30 weeks of age, we herd them into a building, load them onto trucks, remove their beak guards, and set them free. Every day after we've collected eggs, we have to wash them and sort them. We call it culling. And anything that is not a normal pheasant egg is sorted out and we don't hatch them. And then they're put in incubators for 21 days and in hatchers for 4.
Today, 6,000 chicks are emerging from their shells. Come with me.
At the end of the 4 days in the hatchers, we open them up, count them into boxes, take them to a different room, and sort them according to sex. They pick up the chicks and check above their eye for a small line above the eye, and that indicates a rooster. If they don't have this line of skin above their eye, it's a hen.
Hatching goes on through May, June, and early July. In all, over 100,000 chicks will hatch here every year. Some of the chicks are raised in the brooding barns. They'll lay next year's crop of eggs. The rest are raised in these barns until they are 9 weeks old. When you come here, you won't be allowed to visit the young pheasants in their pens. The hatchery must ensure the birds remain healthy. But there's a film you can watch that shows you the complete hatching process, and there's an activity kit based on the stages of the embryo. I found that really interesting.
Pheasant embryos develop rapidly in the shell. You'll notice their growth on a daily basis. One day you'll see limb buds, the next day you'll be able to pick out individual toes on their feet with scales and toenails. Then you'll notice feathers starting to develop on their backs. Soon feathers will cover their whole bodies. In 25 days, the chicks are ready to hatch.
I found it easy to remember the stages of the embryo after I played pheasant tracks and tail feathers with you.
You can take that with you if you'd like.
Thanks, Dory. Now I think it's time for the flying demonstration to begin at the Alberta Birds of Prey Centre.
The eagle that you're going to see fly is a golden eagle. They're very common here in southern Alberta. This one was actually turned into us last year. It was found starving. What we're doing is we're taking it through a physiotherapy process. We're trying to get its flight muscles back so we can release it back to the wild.
The birds are flown regularly to give them exercise and to help rehabilitate those who will be released back into the wild. Training the birds to return when released starts with gaining their trust, and food is used as the prime motivation. The bird quickly learns that if it wants breakfast, it has to take it from the trainer. Then the bird is encouraged to hop onto the trainer's hand and is always rewarded with food. Gradually, the distance the bird is asked to hop is increased until the bird is flying to the trainer.
When we come back, Steve and I will be heading west to the future site of the Water Interpretive Centre and Beauvais Lake Provincial Park, near Pincher Creek.
Please stay with us.